Heading into the Mexico City Grand Prix this weekend, there was a lot of tension in the F1 community over the floor tests that were completed. But heading into the weekend, it looked like Mercedes and Ferrari were going to have good weekends. Throughout the weekend, Alex Albon was on fire. He was second in practice for all of them, and he was really on the pace. But that did not matter, as Verstappen was absolutely rapid, and heading into qualifying, it looked like he was going to take pole by miles. Mercedes and Ferrari were off the pace, Red Bull was rapid, and Albon's pace just dropped away in qualifying. And as we headed into Q3, it looked like it was going to be a Verstappen pole, until Ferrari turned up, got a front row lockout with Daniel Ricciardo in 4th place in an AlphaTauri that resembles a tractor more than an F1 car. Alonso spun it into the barriers, and this led to Norris not being able to complete a lap, knocking him out in Q1, while Sargent ignored the yellow flags to sow the seeds of democracy as he got his lap time deleted and dropped 10 positions due to a grid penalty. But it started at the back anyway, so it did actually matter. It was lights out, and Leclerc almost bogged down because his revs were so low. Verstappen got a jump, and he managed to take the lead into turn 1. Perez saw a massive gap on the outside, went to go and exploit it, which sounds a bit like Qatar, and I'm sure nothing will ever repeat it. Oh, he got flying up into the air, and he was out of the race after he tagged the outside of Leclerc's tyre. Leclerc lost half his front wing, and basically, that's it. Perez's seat is gone after Ricciardo got full. Even before lap 10, the temperatures were absolutely astonishing for all the drivers. They're struggling with temperature, maintaining their endurance, and also just the car temperature. It was ridiculous. Then Verstappen pitted onto hards, and his race engineer said, "Don't push too hard." I don't know if he was pushing or whatever, but he was taking 2 seconds a lap out of every other car on the field. It's ridiculous. Those hard tyres were mental. So Ferrari took the top 2 spots, and rather than thinking, right, I'm going to split the strategies and whatever, they decided to keep Sainz out until Verstappen almost passed him. Before he passed him, pitted Sainz, and that was basically his race fucked. Meanwhile, they kept Leclerc out, and then they pitted him, and it basically just looked like Verstappen was going to dominate the race, and blah blah blah. It was going to be another US Grand Prix all over again. Ferrari said that they were on Plan A, which I have actually decoded what Plan A is. Plan B is burn to death. Plan A is abort all hopes. And realistically, if you're a Ferrari fan, you should do that anyway. Then Magnussen threw it into the barriers, and well, it wasn't really his fault because something on the rear of the car broke. Verstappen said it wasn't worthy of a red flag. Oh yeah, they red flagged the race. Verstappen said it wasn't worthy of a red flag because there wasn't much damage, even though the barrier was torn open. But I have found out something really interesting about this. As you may know, Haas buy Ferrari engines, but it's not just Ferrari engines that they have. They have Ferrari gearboxes and other spare bits, and most of the rear of their car is actually manufactured by Ferrari, which means even if Ferrari don't fuck up their own race, they're fucking up other teams' race. I mean, this is the most Ferrari thing I've ever heard. Piastri and Tsunoda were battling really hard. They were put side by side, and Piastri was actually tagged by Tsunoda and almost got spun round, but held it. It was a really close battle, until heading into turn 1, Tsunoda was slightly ahead, turned in, he did a Perez, and he got spun round, and he wasn't out the race, but his race was effectively fucked. And it was absolutely gutting because he had such a good race. Verstappen won from Hamilton and Leclerc. Leclerc started on pole and Verstappen won, so if Leclerc is ever on pole, just know that Verstappen's going to win the race. But what was really good is Ricciardo finished 7th after starting 4th in effectively a canal boat. So, you know how Norris got knocked out in Q1, he started down 17th, and after coming back through the field and everything, after a shit restart, getting fucked over by the safety car and red flag, he came home to finish 5th. And all jokes aside, this is such an impressive drive considering how many positions he lost. Overall, he gained over 20 positions throughout the race, and it is just insane to think. Both Aston Martins retired, Alonso because of a mechanical failure, and Lance Stroll, well, he was side by side with Logan Sargent multiple times, and he was pushing him onto the grass, squeezing him out of road, and it was just ridiculous to watch. Eventually he got spun round by Bottas, and I don't want to say he deserved it, but he carved it by not leaving the car's width for anyone, and it was really not a good race. And I do think that he is going to announce his retirement soon, or he's going to be forced out to sport or something, because had he not been in that seat, Aston Martin would be challenging McLaren at the moment, there's no doubt about it. Time to speak about Sergio Perez. He's only 20 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton in the championship after the DNF and Lewis's second place, and had Lewis not been disqualified at the US Grand Prix, he would only be 1 point behind Checo in effectively a spaceship. Now, I think that Checo is going to be replaced by Ricciardo next season, and with his drive at the Mexican Grand Prix for both drivers, it is a pretty obvious choice, and I do feel a bit sorry for Checo. He's a good driver, but this season has really not been his year. So anyway, what's your thoughts about this race weekend? If you have enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. If not, comment why, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.